I messed up. Seriously, I did. On the Sunday, it was my birthday, and this is where it all really did start to go wrong. It was just one of those things, and I want to talk about it because I'm not aiming to be Mr. Perfect, but I do want to be really honest with you and real, and talk about stuff that might actually happen to you as well as to me. So here's what happened. You know, I was once 287 pounds and obese. And one of the things that I struggled with was what was called a sweet tooth. Basically, I ate a lot of carbs and sugar. And when you do that, if you're like me, you start to lose control and your appetite starts to control you. And the big manufacturers, food manufacturers, they know this. And they've spent a lot of time and money and energy and effort to create food that's addictive so that you keep coming back to it over and over again. They've created the right blend of fats and sugars that trick your brain into feeling like you're hungry even though your stomach might say you're full. So you can feel like a food addict if you don't know. So I know all this, and you know, knowing and doing, they're completely different things. That said, I do tend to try to avoid foods that are high in sugars. I mean, we just don't buy them. And the few foods that do actually come into our house, there's actually been a discussion about why we want to have them in the house in the first place. And living like this has really helped me to lose weight and maintain it. And going back to the story, last week I was reviewing a food product. It kind of left me feeling a little bit kind of high at the end of it. And my brain just wouldn't shut off during the night, and I didn't sleep very well. And then the next day, it was Friday, and on a Friday after a busy week, sometimes I like to have a beer or a cider. I don't drink a lot these days, but on the odd occasions when I do, I know that when I get to the point of finishing a second pint, I know that I've got a decision to make because I'll have a hangover the next day. I am a lightweight like that. But going back to my story, other than on a Friday, the only other time that I'll ever really drink a beer or a cider is when I'm watching a game with my dad, and then we'll probably just split a bottle between us, so it's only about half a pint. The thing is, on the last time I watched a game with my dad, which was the Saturday after the Friday when I'd had the beer, after the day where I hadn't slept very well, because I was on a high. I actually ate quite a lot of carbs and sugars on that evening too. And then on the Sunday, it was my birthday, and this is where it all really did start to go wrong. I ate a lot of cake and I had a couple more beers. I also ate some more carbs, and I also had a sauce which had some sugar in it. Now I know a lot of health police might be watching this, they might be tutting at me, the reality is, though, for us mere mortals, we live life. Sugar sometimes is a part of that life. Sometimes it comes into our daily life when we're relaxing, or maybe when we're celebrating something. But we have to think about this. Are we punishing ourselves by not indulging, or are we punishing ourselves by overindulging? So maybe there's a balance. But anyway, 2 hours later, I'm yawning and I'm struggling to stay awake. And I'm starting to feel moody, and a headache has started to come on. So I went to bed, and the next morning I woke up and immediately didn't want to get out of bed. I felt tired, I felt depressed, my body felt weak, and I was just fed up. But I said I'd work out every day of the week, and I like to keep my commitment. So I dragged my backside out of bed. But the thing is that every one of those exercises, every set of weights I was doing, it was like negotiating with a villain inside my head. And the villain was just trying to stop me and saying, oh, go back to bed. You don't really want to do this. And we all have a villain. It's the one that says we don't want to do it, or we're not good enough, or you're not loved enough, or you can't do it, blah, 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 blah. On it goes and on it goes. And every villain just needs a hero to come along and save the day, doesn't it? So I summoned up my hero and did my ground punch. You know, the sort of thing that Hulk does when he's really pissed, or that Thor does with his hammer. It's kind of like a primal way to summon up energy. And you can read more about that in Todd Harmon's brilliant book called The Alter Ego if you want to. So I just said to my villain, sugar, this is my time. This is my workout in my home. This is my chance to get better and be fitter today. I had enough of you last night, so if you want to spoil someone's day, control their mind and maybe make them feel weak-willed, well, just place else, because I'm not going to give you another moment. And from that moment on, I added 4 extra kilos to my weight and I completely owned that workout. But you know, the thing is, if there's food in the cupboard and it's sweet and sugary, it kind of calls to me. Oh, neely weely. And I was kind of brought up to not waste food, so I just don't really like to chuck it away. So the cake was calling me, and on Monday afternoon, what do you know? I ate some more. Monday night, my energy drained away from me, my headache returned, my body ached, probably from the workout, mind you. And I also got shivery and moody, so I went to bed early again. Then I woke up on Tuesday, and guess what? I immediately didn't want to get out of bed. I felt tired, I felt depressed, my body just felt weak, and I just felt fed up all over again. And again, because I said I would get up every day and work out, and because I've made that commitment, I dragged myself out of bed. This time I was doing cardio and it was incredibly sluggish. So I summoned up my inner hero again and said, Sugar, we're not doing this again today. You know how this turned out yesterday? It turned out really badly for you. So why don't you just quit while you're ahead? Because this is a game that you are gonna lose. So during the morning, I gradually recovered. I drank a lot of alkalizing drinks, things like a green protein shake with lots of things in it like chlorella. I also had some lemon water, drank things like a green juice as well. So lots of things that would alkalize my body. And then in the afternoon, I had a nap. And by the time I'd had that, the headaches and all the moodiness seemed to have gone past. So I've got a couple of things to say. I don't eat a lot of sugar, but when I do, it really affects me. It might not affect everybody, and it might not affect everyone in the same way. If you're waking up feeling depressed or fed up, or you have a lot of headaches, or maybe you've had a sugary cereal for breakfast, or you have a cereal bar in the mid-morning, or you have chocolate maybe at some point later in the day, and maybe you have sugar in your tea, or maybe you have soda drink, and maybe you have rice and pasta and potatoes. And if you're feeling depressed, then it might just be cutting those things out for a few days and just seeing what happens. I can guarantee you that probably after a couple of days, maybe on day 2 and maybe on day 4, you might feel a bit groggy and you might really feel a bit fed up. That's the sugar leaving your body. That's your addiction leaving the body. If you're in my generation, you might remember a comedian called Victoria Wood. And I remember her speaking out once about the connection between sugar and depression. So sugar can cause depression. It's a real thing, and it's really hard to come off sugar. And when I did it a few years ago, there were 1 or 2 really dark days, moody days, mood swings and headaches and low energy, which is probably why Jason Vale, the juice master, calls sugar the cocaine of the food industry. The second thing to say is we can master our minds. For a while I felt weak-willed around food, but the truth is I brought food into my home that actually really sucked. It was really high in rubbish. It had no nutritional value and it made me feel fat and addicted. And the day I realised that, I actually took back control. And I wanted to talk about this today because I do slip up from time to time. I'm not going to be perfect, but I do want to be making good choices consistently around my health and well-being. And I want those to add up to really good health so that on the odd occasions when I do mess up, it's not going to have a really huge impact. It's something that I could correct in maybe 12, 24 or 48 hours, and then it's not going to harm me long term. Cravings and having the odd celebration really are just a part of everyday life. They're a part of being human, and it's for us to say when we stop and how we stop. If you've enjoyed watching this video today, please do give us a thumbs up because it really does help the channel. And why not subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of all of our latest health and wellness uploads, including interviews and reviews and more videos like this.